Hey, it's Phil from Euroheat, and a really common question is, how long does it take for the house to actually heat up with a floor heating system? It's a tricky question because, of course, as with everything, it depends on how it's designed and installed. But let me give you a brief summary. So if you install a hydronic floor heating system into a suspended slab, which is, say, your first floor or your second floor, where you have, say, 257 or even 300 or 400 millimeters of concrete slab, which is a huge amount of concrete and which we do not recommend installing floor heating into. It can take, at best, many hours, but most likely days. And that's because there is so much energy required to lift the temperature of that slab by even 1 degree Celsius that it takes a long time for that to accumulate and for it to have any sort of meaningful output. With that, there is also the problem of huge energy leakages, but we've talked about that in a different video. So if you want to learn more about that, check that one out. So next, we can talk about the heated on-ground slab. So that is your concrete slab on top of your sand pad on your building site. And let's disregard whether it's insulated or not right now, but generally that will take about, let's say, 45 minutes for you to start feeling any meaningful output from that on-ground slab. And that's because generally the thickness of this slab is 100 to 125 millimeters. And so it takes a little bit of time to warm it up, and then you get to feel the benefits of the heat after that. And last, we have screeds. And screeds are not just layers of concrete or sand cement on top of more concrete, because then that just becomes one large heated mass. But we're talking about insulated screeds, where you might have a suspended slab. On that you have insulation, and then you have your piping with concrete or sand cement cover over the top of that. And now this has the quickest reaction time. So this can be anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on the thickness of the screed and what the screed is made out of. And this is our favorite method, and this is the European method, because you don't have as many energy losses and you can react quickly also to the changing climate. And especially in Perth, or around the Perth region, we often have quick changes in climate throughout the day. From sometimes there's a big difference between the morning, the middle of the day and the afternoon. And so if you have a huge thermal mass, let's say the suspended slab, it not only does it take hours or days to heat it up, but it also takes that long to have it cool down again. So if the weather changes from one day to another, you are still suffering the next day. Let's say it's cold one day and then warm the next day, you're still suffering the next day because heat is still being output, even though you don't want it to anymore, and it might be 26 degrees outside. So to summarize, the less thermal mass you have, the quicker the reaction time, the less amount of time it takes to heat up, and also the less amount of time it takes to cool down. So if you'd like some help with designing and installing a heating and cooling system that has a fast reaction time and doesn't take long to heat up or cool down, give us a call at Euroheat. We can have a quick 15-minute chat on the phone about how best to design your heating and cooling system.